Today we're going to be going over the palpation for the shoulder joint today. So I'm going to be starting right here in the center at her manubrium, and right if you move a little bit distal, you have the SC joint, which is the sternal end of the clavicle, and then you move down distally to the acromial end of the clavicle. And then if you move a little bit posteriorly, you'll feel the acromion process of the scapula. And then we're going to move down here to the spine of the scapula. And if we feel the medial border, you can feel the medial border of the scapula and the lateral border down to the inferior angle. And that's our bony ligaments of the scapula. And then if we move to the humerus, we have the head of the humerus, which is in the glenoid fossa. And then you move right here and you have the greater tubercle of the fossa of the humerus, and then the intertubercular groove, followed by the lesser tubercle. And then down a little bit distal from the body, we have the deltoid tuberosity. So today we're going to start with the muscles of the shoulder girdle, and we're going to start with the serratus anterior. The serratus anterior goes from the 9 upper ribs, so it's very deep. It's kind of hard to feel, but it's from the 9 upper ribs to the anterior side. You can't really palpate it because it's in the anterior scapula to the medial border of the anterior scapula, and that helps with elevation. And then we're going to move to the pec minor, which is deep to the pec major, and it goes from the coracoid process here down to the ribs 3 to 5 right here, and this helps with depression. And then if you move to the trapezius, it starts from the base of the skull down to the thoracic vertebrae, and we have the upper fibers, middle fibers, and lower fibers. So palpating here, if you can see, we're going to go to the upper fibers help with elevation, and then the middle fibers, they're going to help with adduction, and then the lower fibers are going to help with, or abduction right here, so towards the spine, and then the lower fibers are going to help with depression. So moving from there, we're going to go to the rhomboids, which are deep to the trapezius, the rhomboids, and the minor rhomboids are on top right here, and they connect to the medial border of the scapula as well as the major ones, and both of them are useful for downward rotation. And then finally for our shoulder girdle, we're going to end with the levator scapula, which starts at the cervical vertebrae 1 through 4. So you're going to go right here, and the levator scapula connects to the medial border of the superior angle of the scapula, so from here to here, and this helps with elevation, as in levator, elevator. And then now we're going to move to the shoulder joint, so it has to do with the movement of the glenohumeral joint right here. So the first muscle we have is our deltoids. So I'm going to start with the anterior deltoid, which is right here, and it helps with internal rotation, and it connects to the deltoid tuberosity, what all of them do. And then the middle deltoid, which helps with abduction of the arm away from the body, and the posterior deltoid, which helps with external rotation. Finally, next we're going to move on to the pec major, which was superficial to the pec minor, and the upper fibers of the pec major they're connected. The origin is the clavicle, so the upper fibers are right here, and they're going to help with abduction over 90 degrees. And then the lower fibers are going to be connected more to the sternum and the costal cartilage of the ribs, and those are going to be useful for adduction. Finally, we're going to move down to the latissimus dorsi, posterior side. The lats are connected, so they insert right here at the intertubercular groove, and then they're connected to the ilium, sacrum, and then the lower lumbar and thoracic spinous processes. And the lat dorsi is really good for like pulling motions, so like anything that has to do with horizontal abduction as well. And the teres major is another muscle for the shoulder joint, and it starts right here from the lateral scapula to the intertubercular groove. So a lot of them insert at the intertubercular groove of the humerus right here, and this is going to be really useful for extension of the arm. And then coracoid brachialis is our last muscle for the shoulder joint, and it inserts on the coracoid process, and it also connects to the medial humerus. So from here to here. So origin, insertion. And then this is going to be really useful for flexion. So you're going to see it's like flexion of the arm right here. And those are our muscles of the shoulder joint and shoulder girdle.